kind of look like I'm not in focus. Hopefully it is, because I only want to do this once.
You only want to do this once?
Yeah.
So you're the one taking the lead today, huh?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Still terrifying.
Rafi's Rambles, Rafi's Rambles,
Play.
Hello, all you amazing artists and humans. Clee here, and today we're talking about balancing your art life with your domestic life. Ugh.
That's right. Life is domestic.
I don't want that on a t-shirt, okay?
So we've got a question from Nina Grassi.
Hi, Nina.
Hi, Nina. I have a question for the angel in the house. Who's me? Thank you.
Rafi, he's so cool.
That is Clee.
It's me.
Whatever. Can you advise me about cooking, cleaning, and vacuum cleaner confrontations with myself? I'm always wrecked with guilt when I scurry up to my studio to paint. I feel that it's my job to deal with the crumbs, dust, etc., etc.
Nina, I'm glad you asked this question because I think the struggle is real. And here's my short answer. I will not be domesticated! Okay, full disclosure, I actually yelled that at Rafi one afternoon when I was feeling overwhelmed and pulled in too many different directions. It totally caught him off guard. I will not be domesticated.
Okay.
And had nothing to do with him. I was just having a moment. I was not the blue flame that day.
I was like, who's trying to domesticate you?
Oh, it's me. So, before we get into anything, could we just address the elephant in the room here?
That's not nice to call me an elephant.
I don't think this feeling of guilt and responsibility is exclusive to women. I think both men and women feel different varieties and amounts of domestic responsibility, but I think we all have to wrangle with this burden.
I understand where she's coming from because in society, that's the way that it typically is. There was a part of me that kind of felt a little bit hurt because I was like, well, I, clean and do dishes and do stuff. It's not like this thing that I'm like, hey, little lady, it's time to clean up the house.
Yeah, that would be a different relationship.
But then again, I know that I'm not what the typical stereotype of a dude is.
Yeah, so I think part of the issue here is whether we equally feel guilt for not doing the things.
Right.
And I think that has more to do with how you've trained yourself or how you've been socially trained than biology. For example, my mom made cleaning a priority above just about anything else. And so I watched her, and so I carried a sense of that with me into adulthood, and now I have to deal with it. Thanks, Mom.
That's interesting, because I kind of had the opposite. Like, my dad wasn't around, and it was just me and my brother, and my mom worked a lot. And so usually the person that had to clean the house was me, which, by the way, she told me years later that she thought it was her boyfriend, her ex-boyfriend, that was cleaning the house and not me. And I was like, what? No, I was the one. I was the indentured servant.
It was me. The truth for me is that most of the men I know have just as much domestic responsibility as the ladies that I know. In fact, I don't think I know any men that don't have some semblance of domestic responsibility.
My dad.
Oh yeah, your dad. Well, other than your dad. In our household, Rafi and I pretty much share the domestic tasks equally. For example, I only know how to cook like 4 things, and I pretty much loathe doing dishes. But Rafi knows how to cook infinite things, and he doesn't mind dishes.
Nope.
And I'm going to talk more on that later, but, that's how we roll here.
Yeah, just like Clee is in charge of doing the laundry because she enjoys doing laundry. And not to mention that if I were to do laundry, I basically just stuff everything in the machine as much as I possibly can and then wash it. And it's clean.
Yeah. What Rafi's illustrating is that you gotta play to your strengths. Okay, so with the gender topic sort of covered, I do have some helpful tips for balancing art life and domestic life. So here are my 9 tips for handling that. So before I get into the 9 tips, I wanted to just point out here, it's important to remember that your creative time and your creative outlet is important, and that dust bunnies and crumbs and mildew will always be there waiting for you. But you have to make your creativity a priority.
An artist first and a house maiden second? Would that be appropriate to say?
I don't know about housemaiden.
I am a house maiden.
I am no housemaiden.
See me roar.
My 9 tips for balancing art and domestic life. Tip number 1, sometimes you gotta take a day, okay? So about 1 day a week, I try to designate for handling the things around the house. And basically, I do all the major things that I can in that day, and whatever I can't get done that day has to wait until the next week. Sometimes I don't do that at all. Sometimes it's more like 1 week out of the month.
And the cool thing about that day is that day doesn't become like the domestic chores day. That day becomes the let's clear out all the funk and reset the house.
Yeah.
Reset the feeling in the home.
We put the music on loud. We sweep all the stuff. We scrub all the stuff. We have a good time of it.
Yeah.
And the house feels good, and then it feels reset to take on the week. It doesn't always work out, but it's a good plan of action. Number 2, sometimes you gotta take a minute. So sometimes you don't have time for a full day of cleaning, but there's some funk in a corner that's just really getting on your last nerve. So just take a minute and deal with the funk. Rafi, all the time when he spots something that bothers him around the house, he just handles it right then and there.
Oh, I have to. I can't. Because if I try to create stuff and the dishes need to be done and they're bothering me, that's the thing. If they don't bother me, it's fine. They could sit there. But if it gets to a point where it's bothering me, I need to take care of it right away.
So dust bunnies beware. Rafi sees you. Number 3, sometimes you gotta take a knee. Dear stars in the universe, I know that my house looks like Thunderdome right now, but this week is cray-cray, and I don't know what I'm gonna do. All I ask is that our house remains standing while I do what needs done. The end. Then you do your art. Number 4, sometimes you gotta take a half-clean approach. To err is human, to half-clean is clean.
Yeah, that's great.
What I mean is, sometimes some stuff looks whack in your house, but you don't have to go all out on it. You could just spray something at it and rinse it off with water, and then it's tolerable for a while. My grandma used to call this method giving it a lick and a promise.
Oh, I like that.
It sounds kind of gross,
Ew.
but she was onto something, I think. Yeah.
I'm going to give that a lick and a promise. Sounds lewd.
Number 5. Sometimes you gotta take a break. Sometimes art and domestic life is driving you bonkers, and trying to balance both isn't happening anymore, and maybe you just need to step away and totally reset. Whether it's for an hour, or a week, or a month, or an indeterminate amount of time. Number 6. Sometimes you gotta take it and live in squalor. And if you don't believe me, J.K. Rowling did this while she was writing the entire first Harry Potter book.
Oh, yeah.
She knew she couldn't balance the writing with domestic life, and domestic life had to get put on hold while the book got written. We also took this approach recently while finishing the final copy edits and formatting of Rafi's book.
Oh, God, yeah.
Sometimes you have to just deal with the funk, live in it, and do your art. Welcome to my home. I've been creating.
I've got a book that I'm writing.
Number 7, sometimes you gotta take out the checkbook. If you're just too busy to manage it all, then perhaps hiring someone to help you with domestic tasks or organizational tasks or administrative tasks might be the route to take. I know. You don't think you can afford that. We've also discussed this very thing, but we did look into it, and honestly, hiring someone to help you is probably not as expensive as you might think. And it will free up your time to make your art, which in turn will allow you to produce more art, which in turn will allow you to make that money.
If you have kids, you could give them an allowance for cleaning, and, that's really cheap labor.
Indeed. The tiny workforce that lives in your home.
That's so wrong.
Number 8. Sometimes you gotta take turns. Now this is revisiting that initial topic. Rafi and I take turns and share the workload around the house for domestic tasks. He does the things that he doesn't mind and I do the things that I don't mind or am good at. But if he's not feeling well or he's overly busy, sometimes I take on his stuff and vice versa. So if I see that he's like silently wigging out, I'll take out the trash. And if he sees that I'm like having a little bit of a frenzy, he'll like sweep and mop the floor. And together, we make the dream work.
Yeah, together we're the dream team.
He's a unicorn. Okay, if you have a partner that's too busy to share the tasks with you, then chances are they're too busy to complain about the house also.
And if they do complain about the house, tell them to do something about it.
If you have a partner that's not too busy, but just simply won't share the tasks with you, make them pay for a housekeeper.
Yeah.
Or tell them to shut that hole in their face.
Yeah. Listen, if you are going to complain about something, but you're not willing to do anything yourself about it, then you should just shut up.
If you live on your own, the bad news is it's all on you. The good news is no one cares but you.
Yeah,
So-
and you probably make less of a mess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unless you're your dad.
Yeah. Oh, there's no helping that man.
He takes the squalor approach mostly.
Yes.
If you have kids, we already touched on this a little. The bad news is they need like caring for and attention and food and stuff, and they can wreak absolute havoc on your household. But like Rafi said, the good news is that they grow into a tiny built-in workforce that you can train to
That
your...
is so wrong.
It's not like that. But like if you help make the mess, little ones, then help clean the mess. That's
Yeah.
all I'm saying. And finally, number 9. Sometimes you gotta take stock of your priorities and really decide for yourself what is important to you. And I think this above all is answering the question that was asked here. If your art is coming second, third, fourth, or fifth on your list of priorities, it might be time to reprioritize.
Oh, yeah.
If
Oh,
you're
yeah.
feeling guilty anytime you go to do your art, you might need to do some self-evaluation. Ask yourself where that belief system is coming from. Stop telling yourself the story that it's in your DNA and do something to change that narrative for yourself.
Yeah.
Listen, I spent a long time feeling like I didn't have enough time for anything and feeling like it was selfish to want to do my art instead of keeping up with other things in my life. But the fact of the matter is, it's not selfish to want to do your art. And if there's one thing we know from running a full-time art and media studio, it is important to keep up with the art side of things.
Oh, yeah.
We have customers waiting on commissions and stuff. That will light a fire. And if you feel like you don't have enough time for stuff, rewrite that story too. I struggle with this, and there's nothing that will make you more tired and inefficient than believing you don't have enough time. Rafi is good at warping time and space because he believes he has enough time for the impossible.
Yeah, that's because I don't know enough.
Rafi's blissfully ignorant, and so he gets all the things done.
Yeah, changing the narrative in your mind about why you're cleaning the house is also important. If you think that you're cleaning because it is a domestic chore that falls upon the lady and that's what you're supposed to be doing, I would change that, because that's not a good reason to clean up your space, and B, it's just not true, and it shouldn't be true. And if you're in a relationship where that is true, then that's not good either.
Clean for you to reset your space and even to clear your headspace. If someone is telling you that you need to clean, especially because you're a lady, you should tell them to go fly a kite while you handle your business. And if it's you telling you, then perhaps you should go fly a kite while you reevaluate how you talk to yourself. Don't let societal obligation stories weigh you down until the point where you just want to run away flailing.
Yeah.
They're not true. They're just stories we tell ourselves. Nina, this was an awesome question, and I think it's one that everybody can benefit from, so thank you for asking.
Thank you, Nina.
Hopefully we answered your question in a satisfactory manner. I would like to know how you guys balance domestic life and art life, and how you feel about it. how your responsibilities are divvied up and what you personally feel when it comes to this subject.
Yep, put those in the comment section below.
And that's it. If you like this video and you want to watch more like this one, just click right over here to subscribe.
Yep.
I got it right. And that's it. Say goodbye, Rafi.
Adios.
Good day.